All right, welcome everyone. Get this party started. Let people filter in. All right, things are loading. All right, I think we can get started now. Nice to see everyone again. Thank you very much for joining. Um, Again, for those who are new with us, my name is Robbie. I'm VP of Product here at Augmentt. A little breakdown of what we do during this meeting. So this meeting's for you guys. We basically try to go through and just help you guys keep up with what's happening in the product. So what we've done within the last month, what we're currently working on, what our roadmap looks like, etc. So let's dive right into the recent updates over the last month. So, one big lift that we did was add the ability to get drift alerts on all the postures in Augmentt. So that's a very big improvement where, we have an evidence-based audit list in product. And now instead of pulling reports and having to go, manually through them, you can simply set up the alerting, and that's why there's the enablement and notification columns here. So choose, which ones align to your compliance standards, as well as which ones should provide alerts or notifications, and then you can simply receive those and then know exactly what needs to be remediated. We run these on a daily basis, so they're tied to the current scan that happens for your environment, so they align to whatever you're seeing in the UI and your reporting today. And we'll walk through that in a moment. Policy editing. I think we've been talking about obviously Intune policies for quite a while here. There was a lot of ask initially for the ability to edit Defender policies. We've released that. And then to edit Intune policies. And so we've now got full coverage on your compliance policies and your configuration policies, which means that you don't need to go to the Microsoft portal to remediate any of those or align any of your standards. You can use Augmentt to, templatize, baseline, and align your deployments. But then if you need to make any changes, add users, groups, configure any setting within your compliance or configuration policies, you can just push them out through Augmentt as well. So we'll walk through that in a moment. As well, we're optimizing for some of your typical workflows. So if you'll recall last month, you know, we saw that it's very typical for groups to get deployed and then policies to get deployed, leveraging those groups. And then the same comment was made around named locations. So named locations will now refresh live. So you can deploy a policy, a named location and immediately leverage it within your conditional access policies. So not needing to do any kind of refresh of the environment in between. And then we have a new posture. I think I've gotten a lot of feedback around this one initially that this had obviously been identified, that this was being leveraged by bad actors. Hard to know which tenants had this on or off, and for quite a while, Microsoft didn't even have an ability to disable it. It was just a feature of the platform, and then they released, via PowerShell, an option to enable or disable this feature from being used, so it can actually be locked down. What's interesting about this is that you could go through your whole 365 UI, you'll never find that setting. It's only available through PowerShell. So again, we're bringing, an interface to the hidden settings of Microsoft to help things out as well. These are also available now in the posture templates and obviously enabled by default within there for the enable all settings. And as we build out we're building out, I should say, new posture templates that align to compliance standards. And some compliance standards actually require this moving forward as well. So it's very helpful to have that built right in. And we've improved our email rules as well. So our alerting module now picks up, again, based on feedback. And, thank you to the community forums and the people who give us feedback constantly. Um, Basically, email rules that are set to hard or soft delete emails can often be malicious activity. So it's better to just review those to make sure that they're meant to be there. And so we've got those alerts that have been released as well. I forgot my typical spiel here, but obviously we have an open chat for everyone to talk on. So I mean, it's great when things are interactive. Feel free to use it. If you have questions that you'd like me to answer, let's do so at any point in time. But use the Q&A if you want to ensure that I can track that I've provided you an answer, or that I can get back to you on an answer if we can't answer it during the webinar. Let me just switch screens here and we'll walk through those settings. So I'm starting with the mailbox delete. So I've got one loaded here. So basically they're part of your settings. If you haven't enabled them yet, you would have received a banner notification right at the top to say, do you want to opt into this? Or you can go in the settings to enable it, and then you will receive alerts. And again, the content of how the rule is configured so that you can quickly analyze if this is a malicious rule or not. Moving ahead, we'll also look at our posture drift notification. So again, we don't enable anything on you guys so that you generate alerts you're not aware of. So you'll have seen a new banner for all the posture drift notifications. And these appear over here under posture drift. And so you'll want to come in. Oh, I've got a filter on these. Let me see. Robbie's having an issue. Hmm, Here we go. Scrolling too quickly. Okay, that looks a lot better. So here we are. The list of posture drift alerts are all here. And again, enable the ones you want. Obviously, you can do it in bulk through, we believe in you, Robbie. That's fantastic. Um, so, they can be enabled very easily, kind of one click. But if you choose not to do that, then simply pick and choose to align to your compliance, right? Match what's in your audit, basically choose which ones should notify you. So there's basically a correlation here. One of these for every single one of your audits. So obviously you're all very much aware of the audit. So while we're in it, right, we want to walk through the new direct send posture. Luckily, we're doing a good job here of toggling this thing on and off whenever we're testing. So this is your brand new posture item for block direct send. And then if you go to our protect templates, you will see that we've added it to the out-of-box template for enabling your settings here. And I believe it is towards the end where you will see whether if you're not compliant, of course, it will suggest the remediation action. We'll walk through Intune policy editing as well. So we've all been to the Intune section before. So we've got our configuration policies here. So device configs and then device compliance. And basically the update being that for any of these, simply click the edit button. You get access to every single value that exists in your device configuration across the different types, policy types, being your settings, catalog, defender, so on and so forth. And then same exists on your compliance over here. So again, full set of intricate values here and full ability to manage everything that's within them, and of course the assignments as well. And that is the walkthrough of the new items. And let me just check for questions. I think we're good. And what we'll do is jump back over here. Okay, so as we move forward here, obviously what's always interesting is what is Augmentt working on right now. So coming soon, typically my coming soon section is for stuff that's very likely to release before we talk again. So the last piece of the Intune policy editing will be the Intune deployment profiles. They're basically done. They just need to ship. Um, App protection policies are coming in. So these guys are almost ready as well. They should be in our next release. And then we'll continue on with there's protection and app configuration policies as well are in progress. Um, and moving forward a bit further looking on the roadmap, right? So those are still things that are in progress, but obviously, so not necessarily shipping, within the month. Larger projects that will probably go in beta within that time frame, though. So we have the audit logs. This has been a big ask. So basically, any configuration item done either within the product or pushing out a setting to the end tenants, we are logging and we are will displaying in the UI moving forward, which I think as you've all known, we've been logging everything in the back end. We've been telling you if you need to get any of that information, reach out to our support team. We run the queries, give you the data. We'll be exposing all of that in the UI, probably looking for some beta partners in a couple of weeks or so. And then one of our very large projects here is compliance auditing and configuration. So moving to out-of-box compliance monitoring. So we're mapping all of our checks to compliance standards. You'll be able to customize your own compliance standards. You can have multiple ones side by side as well, which is obviously a difference between what we do today with the ability to customize your audit. Is it's a single static kind of per customer thing that you can set, whereas you may want to monitor multiple things simultaneously is the feedback that we have received. And so that is being built out, which means, click on any of the tiles and they basically filter down very quickly, but you get these overall uh, kind of check confirmations at the top to know what percentage is being fulfilled or whatnot. With those, we're working on out-of-box baselines as well. So that will, and you might have seen it if you had some eagle eyes there a moment ago, but we're creating some out-of-box posture templates aligned to the standards. Since the enable all settings, for example, or the logging ones may not be specifically aligned to standards themselves. They just recommend a bunch of good security changes. So limiting them to what's required by the standards. Obviously, evidence-based reporting, full customization. Let me see, we've got some questions coming in here. So yeah, so one of the S's, so the compliance and auditing is that custom posture per client. So yes, this will be as usual. You'll be able to set kind of what you want out of the box across all your customers, but you'll be able to pick and choose what you want for specific customers. So, as hey, I love the celebrations. So as we build out things like, HIPAA and obviously NIST or we'll be doing CISV8, IG 1, 2, 3, etc. Um, you'll be able to pick those and align them to the right customers. So obviously, you're probably not giving HIPAA to like your local garage that you're supporting, but your dentist most likely. So we understand the need for flexibility there. Great ask, Neil. Cyber Essentials is absolutely on the docket. Again, I think I've mentioned this, and I should state, we are moving into covering them all, right? And so within limitations, of course, on things like where we can't really play like GCC high and things like that. Um, but the idea is we've always been compliance focused. We simply didn't have the framework to allow us to grow without kind of breaking the experience. So this lift is really to support us going really deep and really wide on compliance auditing. So definitely what I'd love to hear is anyone who's got compliance standards they want supported, throw them in the Q&A. I want to make sure they're on our radar, but pretty much every single one is on our radar as well. So, but it's good to get validation of that stuff. Looking a bit more forward on the roadmap, so nothing in beta yet, but that will change soon when some of these projects move forward to the next steps. I'm hoping to be betaing the two I just showed you pretty soon, or at least first versions of them as we continue building them out. So what's interesting on the next stuff is the Intune apps and scripts replication. There's a lot of ask for that. So as soon as we complete the app protection and app configurations, we'll be moving into that. And obviously additional compliance configurations. So, there's always a big ask for, we monitor a lot of things. Can I configure more of them? And the goal for us is to configure all of them and monitor all of them in terms of compliance standards. So there'll be a big project towards that. And then in my planning and research, for those of you that were part of the last webinar, I put up a survey around some of the roadmap items, mainly, the items that are in that planning and research phase. And it seems like the items in green were the ones that had the largest amount of enthusiasm for, I'll say. So definitely two things. One, I'll probably be reaching out to our technical advisory, and of course, everyone's allowed to be part of the technical advisory, right? So just reach out to us if you're interested in being part of those conversations and giving feedback on the roadmap and how we should build things. And those are going to be probably main topics we want to focus on to help drive the roadmap. And of course, we're always open to feedback if you think we should be going other directions as well. So definitely look out for that. And to give you a little bit of insights, on this topic, on how we're thinking of this thing. Um, oh, good. And sorry, I keep getting distracted by great comments that are being added, but I love to see enthusiasm around the topics because it means we're aiming in the right direction. So again, this is us exploring ways that we could do compliance workflows within the product. We're finding that, we basically do all the coverage that we need to do, and sometimes it may not be as obvious out of the box, or as simple as it needs to be. We definitely want to build out that easy button for you guys. And so these are ways that we're exploring doing that. And if those are things that you're interested in talking about or providing guidance on, reach out. Again, our emails are straightforward, first name dot last name at augmentt.com. I've put up my email there a bunch of times, but just reach out to anyone. Say you want to be either part of technical advisory or provide roadmap feedback, and we'll be happy to have a chat with you. And I say we, as in myself and obviously our UX team and anyone else in the company, really. As always, we're trying to put out some good content for you guys, hopefully, and we're always open to new topics that are of interest to you. So Sai and David will be covering mastering conditional access and identity security. And we'll be doing a bit of a pre-launch into some Intune patch management here, and covering some of those topics with our friends at RoboPack as well. So if you want to register for any of those, they might get dropped in the chat at any moment, but also they're just on our website under the webinars section, and they're landing. So there was a comment from Einar on, hopefully I said your name right, but Dora and SOC 2. So SOC 2, absolutely. And I'll honestly, first time I hear of Dora, so I will check that one out. And we can probably get alignment on that as well. Thank you for mentioning them. As always, that's the end of the show. We try to run through it pretty quick so we can give you as much time back as possible. Always open to suggestions on the format and what else we can do to give you guys value when it comes to the product stuff. And I'm open to, I'll keep it open for about a minute here for any additional question. Otherwise, thanks everyone, and we'll see you next month. Yeah, so I've got a question here. Um, yeah, regarding blocking user if a threat is detected. So that depends on the kind of threat, but if you go to the alerts section under your safe locations, that's where the safe locations are like top right, under alerts, you will see that you can configure auto remediation in there, which I believe is what you're looking for in terms of automatic blocking and signing users out. Awesome. Oh, good. More more asks for Dora, which is specific to financial services. Got it. I love that. That's terrific feedback. Thank you. All right. And again, anyone has any questions, comments, feedback, just reach out. We'll be happy to have a chat and learn more from you guys. Until then, see you next month. Have a good one.